Hi guys, Artiar here. So for this video will be a R6 Sloan's video showcase. So this video will cover like what does her R2 and R4 and R6 does in action and what is the effect of it. So this video is this account is not mine. This account is from Mr. XYZ. It's one of my Discord member, and he PM'd me about like he have the R6 D3 Sloan already. That's so fast. Like it's just like day 1 or day 2 after since she released, right? So yeah, thanks for him. So I'm able to manage to show you guys how does the R6 Sloan works. So let's take a look here. So Sloan, I assume you already know the basic kit of Sloan, right? So this is the Sloan, and then let's take a look at the resonance. So the R2 effect here, after casting the ability of S3, then no longer casts freeze on the ally, it actually just casts speed down for the ally. So this one I think most of you already know that. So you cut down the downside of the high DPS S3, because in S3 for Sloan, it's actually a high multiplier AoE with freeze and also like a lot of stuff doing it, right? And this skill is able to reset the cooldown by any ally is dying. So enemy die or your ally die will also reduce this cooldown by 1 turn, and this cooldown this skill is actually 3 turns after you max it out. So as long as 3 Esper die in the battle, you can actually reset the skill and cast this ability again, including revive. So after revive and they die again, it will still count as well. Okay, then the R4 effect here, it will increase your target the damage from the passive effect. From if the enemy have 10 stack of Soul Saver, then it will increase the damage to 200%. So it's no longer just 150% times 2 for 300%. It's going to be 400%. Then for R6 effect is, at the start of the combat, you will instantly get anti-tick at the start of the turn, because normally you will not have this debuff. You will not have this buff. You only have this buff after you cast the S3 effect. See, after you cast S3, then you only get 2 turns of anti-tick. But if you are R6, you have instantly this effect, the anti-tick effect for 2 turns at the start of the battle. And if Sloan have the this buff when she dies, it will no longer become just the cold body, because originally if you die, let me find it. So originally if you die, it will prevent her from dying, recover full HP and gains cold armor, which is this effect, and freeze herself for 1 turn, right? But if you go to R6 effect, you will dispel all the debuff from herself, but you will not gain freeze, so you won't limit yourself by taking action. So you just get benefit by the cold armor effect, and then after reviving herself, then she'll cast 1 S3. It will trigger once per battle. So technically, she dies, she will revive, and she will get the cold armor effect, but not getting the freeze, and then cast another S3 for free. Okay, so you will still gain this cold armor effect, which is you get some extra armor, and then every time you get hit enemy, you get attack down and speed down on the attacker, something like that. Okay, so let's take a look how the R6 effect looks like just in battle. Right, so I go to VR Battleground. I'm gonna put Sloan here without any equipment. I want the enemy to actually try to kill me, and you will see like how the R6 effect triggers. Okay, so I make it slow. Enemy hit me. Okay, I'm gonna die soon. Hit me, and you can notice that every time they take 1 action now, there's a Soul Saver on the enemy now, because at the start of the combat, I instantly have the anti-tick, and because I die, I will trigger my passive. I will gain cold armor, which is the armor I currently have now. I have this thick armor shield here, and then I cast a S3 AoE for free, because you can see that my skill didn't consume the cooldown. So which means if my S3 is already on cooldown, and if I die, I will revive and instantly cast AoE S3 on the enemy. So I think she will be a very good Esper to counter if enemy is using like Tolan or those speed cleave comp, because you are not able to cleave Sloan, because if you cleave Sloan, then Sloan will instantly revive and cast 1 S3 and freeze all your enemy, freeze all of your Esper. So if your team don't have immunity, then pretty much your cleave team will get stopped halfway. So another thing, I have the cold armor, right? So every time when they attack me, they have a chance to apply attack down and speed down on the target. If the attacker is already infected by speed down, 50% chance also freeze the target. So she'll be a very scary controller. So now I can cast S3 again. Okay, another AoE freeze. Boom. Then my cold armor will out of the turn, and then I'm back to the normal state. And the good thing about having Inditech at the start of the combat will make my ally and also herself able to apply the Soul Sever just by attacking them. Because if you don't have Inditech, this buff here, which is if you're not R6, then you don't have this buff here, you have to wait until Sloan take her action, cast S3, then you only start to have this buff. Okay, then another thing, now I'm going to cast S1, attack the target, and then I'm going to trigger my passive to attack this. But because the target have already of 10 stack of the Soul Saver, I will trigger my R4 effect, deals additional extra damage 200%. So this 200% is not what I thought. This 200% I thought is 200% gonna replace this 150% to 200%, but it's actually 150% times 2, so it's 300%. Plus 50% here, then plus 200% here, so it's the total of 550% S2 damage just by one passive. But if you include S1 here, it's actually 670% multiplier. So if I S1, I damage first, right? Then I'll follow up with a pursuit, 4 hit here, 4 hit damage here. So this is how strong Sloan is in terms of multiplier, but you have to know that this Sloan doesn't have any equipment yet. So let me show you if I put in equipment for Sloan. Alright, so this is the build I'm trying now. So I'm not sure this is the best build for her or not, but it's going for Thunder and Accuracy here because some accuracy for the freeze. I think it's pretty important because a lot of her kit is surrounding around freeze, speed down. Applying all those debuff is pretty important for her. This silver debuff is 100% apply, so it doesn't matter, but the speed down and freeze is important because you need to apply like freeze or speed down to trigger her certain passive. Right, so let's take a look at the DPS here. So what I want to test is how big DPS is the S1 damage. Right, so I want them to kill me. Okay, never mind. So even they apply attack down for me is fine because I'll instantly dispel everything, then I'll cast S3 for free, boom. Alright, so it will be a 2 hit damage that applies freeze to everyone. Then I still have 1 freeze for free. Then let's say I'm gonna cast S3 again. Another freeze, another 2 damage. It's 100k per S3. Okay. Then let's wait for me to take the action. Okay, now these two guys have S1, right? So 10 stack. Cause this 10 stack can trigger the extra additional damage. So it will be 150% plus 150% plus 50% extra damage plus 200% of extra damage. So it's a 4 hit damage here, and not including the S1 damage first. Okay, so S1, attack the target, freeze and speed down, then follow up with the damage. Then it casts 25k. Okay, so let's try in the battle now. Okay, so I did some testing around. I have some win and some lose, but I think this will be the early look into the R6 D3 Sloan team and the target. So I think you should avoid as per like Wu Yu and also as per like Momo. Cause in this team comp here, you need Chuya to protect Sloan, because Sloan is pretty squishy, to be honest. Sloan would die pretty easily. That's why Sloan R6 will revive her and also cast another AoE freeze. And because nowadays everyone is going to build with at least Chuya in their team, right? And Chuya will keep on dispelling, so the freeze and speed down will actually get dispelled pretty often. So to counter that part, we put in Tricky here to recounter the dispel on removing the freeze from Sloan. So Tricky here will apply either petrification or either apply the Tyrant sets stun on them. so they'll ensure them not able to take the action. So Chuyao and Chuyao and Sloan here is pretty like a pair, and I think Sloan and Tricky is a pair as well. And every time Chuyao takes an action, the S1, and then Sloan will follow up damage with S1, and then this S1 will trigger her S2 damage follow up damage. That's where make her high damage. So including our Tara will also help her trigger the S1. This S1 will also let her follow up her passive damage as long as the enemy have one soul sever. Then Lian here is just for some protection, overall survivability, and Petros here is to counter Mavis and Jinchu meta. So technically, if we have to like put into a line, so Chuyao vs Chuyao, Sujue vs Sloan, then Lian will vs Mavis as the supporter, then Shimmer vs Shimmer, and then Tricky will vs Jinchu, something like that. And let's take a look how it goes. So I'll make it full auto and we'll look. Okay, so enemy Chuyao will take the action first because this account isn't built with that fast, so it won't take the action first. Okay, so now we debuff them. Sloan assist, S2 passive, instantly kill Mavis. Okay, it triggers Petros passive. Petros follow up, kills Chuyao. And because of this killing the finishing effect, it actually helps trigger Sloan's passive as well. So the faster the Sloan passive cooldown, the faster Sloan able to cast more S3 trigger. Alright, so some other DPS output from Petros. Okay, S1, then Sloan follow up, freeze. Okay, never mind, he died. Then follow up with passive. Cause as long as Sloan trigger her S1, then it will always trigger her passive on the other target. So it's something like Petros passive as demon mode as well, because as long as Petros casts his S1 on his demon mode, he will always trigger his pursuit attack on a random target. That's why you can see just now Petros, it kills Icky because of the random target thing. Right, so the DPS wise, this is something like this. But it is very RNG, to be honest. Like this high investment, you need to be in an RNG fight that you cannot fight the Wuyu team. Because if you really want to invest in that high unit, I think Momo is still worth the value to invest more than Sloan in terms of this PvP meta. Because Momo can kill Wuyu easily, and Momo can be built in most of the other team as well. Okay, so after a few tries around, so you can see that I actually lost a lot when I'm testing Sloan. Maybe I didn't build her well. In terms of DPS, it's actually amazing. So if you take a look at this showcase for this part, the damage wise is actually impressive. Like after her S3, then follow up with a pursuit damage. It is a very impressive damage, but in our current meta in PvP, there's like, it's either Wuyu everywhere in terms of point war, okay? In terms of point war, it's either Wuyu everywhere, or either it's gonna be Chuyao everywhere, or either it's gonna be Momo everywhere. So this kind of Esper actually counters Sloan a lot, so it's a bit hard for me to find a good matching or matchup result for R6D3 Sloan. But other than point war, other than beat bout, that's only required for one team. So let's say in GVG triple threat, let's say in knockout as your second team, third team, and your fourth team, all these things other than the first team, she actually performs very well, and especially in warm-up match as well. I can see her potential in warm-up match because of the freeze, all those things. You can see just now the one AoE nuke actually clears all the battle already, cause her multiplier is, can't deny, it's really high. Just that every time I refresh in point war is all Wuyu, it's pretty hard to let Sloan perform her DPS. You can see her DPS here to instantly kill Jinchu very easily. But it really depends on the enemy as well. And not every time it's gonna win. Sometimes it also rely on RNG. Like fighting this Ballox guy here. This time I win, right? But you can see I lost another 2 times. Then this time only win. So it really depends on RNG for Sloan, I feel. Okay, so just my first impression, okay? I'm not saying her bad instantly because this is just some slight testing. I want to see more whale player to have, like, when they get R6 Sloan, and then maybe they will cook up some different combo. But for now, if I'm looking at Sloan now, I would say in terms of R6 value, I would still recommend Sujue R6 value more than Sloan in terms of user utility in more content or all those stuff. I would say Sujue is still better than Sloan. Okay, but I do see some of the showcase already, or some of the performance result. I haven't make it into video yet, which is R2 Sloan is actually a very strong DPS dealer in Falsetto Fantasy. This one I'll make it at another showcase when I get R2 Sloan. But for now, if in PvP content, I would say R6 Sloan performance isn't as good as R6 Sujue. Maybe I'm using her wrong, or you have any idea, you can feel free to comment down to let me know what kind of Sloan showcase you want me to test. But for now, from what I'm seeing, multiplayer, can't deny, is really high. The control is really good. But in terms of like matching with Wuyu team, which is almost everywhere, it's not that good. But as a second team to fifth team for knockout and triple threats, all these things, she's gonna be a very good DPS dealer because of her AoE. She's actually able to counter cleave and also do a lot of damage. She's a very strong DPS, but she won't be your T1 as per selection. Like Sujue can be your T1 selection, right? Fit into Wuyu team is totally fine, but I don't think Sloan is for now. Okay, so just take it a grain of salt because this is just my early testing for her in R63. I spent a few hours like figuring out how to play her, but I can't find a way yet. Okay, so hope you guys enjoy the video and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Special thanks for the direct support on the YouTube membership. So for the benefactor of Artiar, which is GenMP, Rosas15, Molcode Reguli, The Bluest Lane, Pigeon Roulette, Kemi, thank you so much for the support. And for the supporter and patron of Artiar, which is Louis Schneider, Agni, Code Wilderness, Wang Tamer, Ziggy, Kamaruki, Sunwatts, Rimu, Choni, Von Hexa, Rawson Bessie, Antonio Winterspoon, Marilyn Williams, and Uncle Chad. Thank you so much for the support. And that's not all. Also, special thanks for the direct support on the live stream super chat, the latest 10. So special thanks to Pigeons Roulette, Agni, Ziggy, Code Wilderness, Choni, and Rosas15. Thank you so much for the support and hope you guys enjoy the video and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.